All right. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all glad you're here? What's going
Oh
on?
yeah, doing great.
All right. Bringing back the Convene Communities podcast. Pretty excited about this.
Go.
Pretty excited about this. Yes. We did this a long time ago, a couple years ago, pre-COVID, really is what it was, and had a
Mhm.
lot of success with it at the time. Had a lot of a pretty good following, a lot of people watching, and kind of went away from it after post-COVID. Everybody got busy, and I think the big thing is Convene Communities is up and running. We're growing. We have a lot of people doing great things, and so here we go. We're back at it. What do y'all think about that?
Love
Well,
it.
yeah, I love it. It's good to be back at it. Get an opportunity to mix it up with the people.
That's right. Exactly. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I know we talked about it last week, a couple weeks ago. It's just bringing it back, and it's the success we had with the podcast over the last couple of years. Well, I guess a couple of years ago. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, who's the guy in the red shirt? I can't figure it out.
He's the man behind the green curtain.
Exactly.
Where's the curtain?
Yeah.
It's behind the green door.
Nice.
Exactly. So, Doc, thanks for being on. Doc is producing this show for us, so he'll be on here every week. Couldn't do it without you. I really appreciate it. I want to say something right off the bat. Up in the corner, you'll see a little QR code. Feel free to use your phone. Doc is doing this for us, and if you hit that donate button, that's throwing a little bit of money towards Doc for all his time and effort. Who not only will be on here tonight, he won't. Not only will he be producing the show while we're doing it, but he'll take it, edit it down, give it to us, put it all on the different platforms and different places that we want. Hey, Doc, where are we going live on tonight?
We're on 4 platforms tonight. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch.
Right, and we'll add another one next week. Hopefully, that'll be X, formerly known as Twitter. There we go. So that's good. So again, the idea behind this. What is the idea behind this? Eugene, what are we doing? Jeff, what are we doing?
Reintroducing the podcast and introducing and discussing the great platform that Convene is.
Yeah. So we can talk about the great platform Convene is, but we're also going to take the time on every week with one of us, basically hosting it, or one of our other great people hosting it. We're going to take the time to highlight what great things are going on inside of Convene.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eugene, when I say a Convene community is a platform with a purpose, what's that mean to you?
It's more than just the run of the mill sell something online. We have a way to give back because we're a company that has a true mission to help ideally nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. So we're on a mission to do some things that are over and above that just goes outside of just sales.
Yeah. So who are we looking for? We're looking for any kind of small business, any kind of entrepreneur, somebody that has a passion, somebody that has a story, somebody that, really kind of thinks of an idea and knows that they can make a difference. That's what makes us different. Somebody gave me the best compliment the other day, and I thought this was pretty cool. And y'all can tell me what you think about this. But, not to throw off on any of the other platforms, because we're going to talk about that here later, when it comes to learning management systems. But when it comes to other social media platforms and all that when I was introducing Convene to them, they said, you know what this sounds like to me? This is real adults, real people having real conversations. And I thought that was like spot on.
Yeah.
Why
would real life?
Yeah, tell everybody about it. I mean, Jeff, you expand on that.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like the logo, the tagline, what we were talking about in 2014 when we were sitting around the lunch table at Guilford College, talking, right? Real life, real people, real community, and that's what it's really turned out to be. I mean, you look at the people that are on the platform now and really thriving. It's exactly that. Real people, influencers that we don't know about yet, right? Interacting and helping, their members and people in their group who, again, are just real people that want to learn and collaborate and discuss and educate and everything else. So,
yeah, and be a part of it. So, well, speaking of that, let's talk about who we haven't really introduced ourselves. We just kind of came on talking. So introduce ourselves a little bit about who we are. So we'll start with you, Eugene.
I'm Eugene Brown, and I make my home here in the Carolinas. I'm a former Army officer, served during the first Gulf War, married to my lovely wife, Brandy, for about 17 years, have 4 children, and I try to focus on all things business and stocks.
Right. Big part of Convene. Pretty cool story. We'll get into this a little more with you, Jeff, and Eugene, but tell the story about how we met, Eugene, because this is how this works. A lot of the way we grow is word of mouth. A lot of how we grow is meeting people and growing internally. So talk about that.
Yeah, I was driving for Uber so I could focus on business, and I was in an affiliate marketing / network marketing company, and Matt and I had were a part of the same thing, but more importantly, I was driving one of Matt's best friends in the car, and it was a gentleman from Alabama, and he said, "You've got to meet this guy," and he connected us, and Matt later asked me, did I want to be a part of what he was working on, and it sounded intriguing, and I said yes, and here we are, the day to day.
So that's how we met. We met through Robert Downs, and you driving them around, which is pretty cool. And we're best of friends, and it's awesome too. So Jeff, how about you? Introduce yourself, and then go ahead and tell how we met.
Yeah, sure. Jeff Bateson, born and raised in Michigan. Now live down in North Carolina, just outside of just outside of High Point, I guess. Been here since 2006, and we met, like I said, just a bit ago in 2014, recruiting your son Braden to play soccer for me at Guilford College. And still remember, like I said, sitting around the lunch table at the cafeteria and just chatting and talking and catching up and really getting to know each other. And you talked about Convene and mentioned Convene. Actually, if I remember right, it wasn't too long after you and Braden came back from Raleigh, and Braden was with you in a meeting, and so he was talking about Convene as well. And it just struck a chord with me. The purpose of it all, and I'm just happy to be here ever since, and just excited to see it grow as it's been growing. It's been really exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, Braden had gone to a business meeting where I was introducing Convene to a company, and it was awesome. So the cool thing about it is that you brought me on over there. My son's playing soccer for you, but you brought me in to talk to the athletes one day.
Mm-hmm.
That was really pretty cool because we had multiple teams from Guilford College in there, and you take what we're talking about, real life, real people, real experience, how we learn, how we make decisions, and we talked about it right there in the classroom with them.
I still have some ex-players, when I run into them and talk to them, they'll bring that up.
Yeah.
That time. So I mean, you certainly struck a chord. I mean, you're just telling your story like you normally do, right? And and then relating it back to their experience as athletes, college athletes, and there was quite a connection between the two.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then over here, you got my boy. And how did we meet, Andy? I mean, come on. I mean, was it on a Navy ship somewhere out in the middle of the big blue ocean?
Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies.
Tell everybody about you, where you from, and everything.
So I currently live about 40 miles west of St. Louis. I'm retired military. Served a lot of time with the Marine Corps as a corpsman, Fleet Marine Force Doc, and then I went on and got my nursing degree, and decided, this is great that I got this. I love it so much that I don't do it anymore. But so I've recently decided to follow in Matthew's footsteps, and my old behind is going back to school.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, where you going back to school, by the way? That's
Liberty University.
Liberty University. Wow.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, kind of sounds like we'll have the same degree here soon.
Sounds like a plug. There's a plug right there.
That's right.
Exactly. I'm not getting paired or paid.
Exactly. But Doc and I met. It's been great. Doc went through the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, which is another great thing that we have in common. Appreciate everything you're doing. You came to the Convene 23 event and did help with the video stuff. You do video work. You've done Mark Ullman's video work, and that he'll be putting on the platform. So lots of good things that you bring to the table. Yeah,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So All right. That's pretty good. But, I want to really kind of dive deep into what's the purpose of Convene? What's the purpose of this podcast? What do we hope to get out of this podcast
Mhm.
as we grow? And so, Eugene, you want to expand on some of that?
Yeah, I'd say that obviously our purpose is to help people connect, communicate, collaborate, and educate in a community that they're passionate about. And it's a great place to be, I'd say, because when I think about the name Convene Communities, Convene is bringing people together, convening in communities. So it's just all about bringing value for people and the exchange of ideas to help people learn.
Yeah, yeah. So if we're talking about like what makes us different, Jeff, like what makes Convene different? Like why are we not like the other platforms out there? Why are we different? Right? What would you have to say about
Yeah.
that?
Well, I'll say it this way. I don't know about a lot of the other platforms out there because I don't go to them, right? But I can tell you just a quick story of last week. I teach high school, and so of course my phone knows the algorithms of me teaching high school, which we can talk about. Our could be not having algorithms, but anyway, I was looking through some reels, and this lady comes up, and she's talking about AI, AI for teachers, and then there's a link in there, so I just clicked the link, and she's got a link tree of all of her content and all of her videos and everything else, and so I just got interested in. So I looked at her content, and then it said modules for doing different things, posting on Instagram or doing teaching stuff or whatever. So I clicked one, and all it is it's 5 weeks, 4 videos each week, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a little closing, thank you video, and then the next week, and there's nothing else. It's just a video to watch of kind of a how-to. So the only way I could reach or communicate with her, talk to her, was to go all the way to the bottom, and the contact me, and it's just support at whatever her name is .com.
Yeah.
So all I could do was email and hope to get one back, right? So Convene would be different is if that same person has a group in the teaching community and it's got all the exact same content, doesn't have to change anything, and I go to the module, well, now there's back and forth. And there's other people in there that have taken those same experiences with the same videos, the same questions that I'm learning from them and their answers. And then I could jump on the discussion board or just message her on the platform and get some dialogue back and forth between her as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one example, and I'm sure many of the other platforms, learning management systems, are the same.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. A lot of them are the same video-wise. They go video
Mhm.
to video, module to module to module, and there's no interaction. You're not
Right.
you're not collaborating with the other people, like taking that course. You're not going back and forth.
Right.
So the big thing is, like, inside of Convene, one of the things is it's a group. Everything's done in a group setting. Everything's done in a format where you can collaborate with everybody inside of that particular interest, whatever the interest might be. Because here's the deal. I don't care what anybody wants to say. So I'm an expert, right? But I'm not an expert on everything, right? I don't have all the knowledge. We'll use me being a pilot, right? So I go out, I've been flying, I have about 5,500 hours of flight time and different aircraft. So I've been out there, I've done it for a while, but I haven't seen everything. I haven't gone through everything as a pilot. I haven't experienced, certain things. Well, if I put something out there and let's say what we call an experience, other people can say, yeah, I've had that happen to me. I've had this happen to me. So now it becomes a collaborative learning environment where it's not just me preaching at you, it's you giving feedback and saying, yep, I've had that happen, or I've been a part of that. So one of the classic examples that I like to use is parenting, right? Parenting's such a big topic nowadays. There's so much going on. So let's get real about this, about parenting. There's so much going on with social media. There's so much going on with depression, anxiety, all the different things that go into it, things that might go wrong that we as parents, we don't know how to handle it all sometimes, right? Because I don't know if y'all have read the manual on parenting that gives you everything that you need to know about parenting.
Still reading it.
Yeah, still reading. It's not out there. So, but what you have inside of Convene Communities is you have experts, or you have other people, and a lot of them are other people that are parents who've gone through it, and they can
Right.
give you, hey, this is what I've gone through, this is what I've done that works, this is what I've done that doesn't work. Well, if I'm having a class or part of a class on a lot of other platforms, all I'm doing is watching a video. You
Right.
tell me, how, the pitfalls of social media, or something like that. I'm not getting the stories, the other ideas from other parents.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's a key. That's one of the things. And we have experts in there like Amy Kraus that goes around the country and speaks at middle schools and elementary schools. A 20 plus year teacher who does great things. You're a teacher. Part of that community is Kate, who is a pediatric PA. So you're bringing in different experts, and we're always looking for other people to come in and join it. But
Yep.
just an example.
Well, another example is uniquely you, the teens and young adults community that parents, no pun intended, but parents, the parenting community.
Yeah.
Using it with my students last year, towards or in the spring, I guess I should say. Just what you were sort of saying, what parents do, these teens were doing. So taking, Megan's I am from experience, and they all take it and they decide, or not decide, but they answer the question of who are they, where are they from, and a lot of them just wrote a lot of great things, not just necessarily I'm from XYZ city in North Carolina. It was like who they were as people. And I'm sure we'll get into this a bit, but the fact that I was finally able to convince them that all their answers were anonymous, they were opening up.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they got to read everybody else's responses as well. And, there's 100 some responses in there. And just like you said, that they're kind of learning about teenage life themselves with their classmates that they've been to school with for a while, but they don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a lot of peer-to-peer teaching and education. So it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, the anonymity. I remember going back and the lessons learned and reading people like, hey, I learned it's okay to be myself. Yeah. I learned that I'm not the only one going through things.
Yeah.
And so that's very comforting when you're a kid and an adult or whoever you are, when you understand that you're not walking alone, that you're part of something. And because a lot of times, I say this all the time, a lot of times people think I'm the only one who's ever gone through this, ever on the face of the earth. It's just me. There's nobody else that has gone through this. Well, that's not true. That's not true. And Doc, you and I can talk about this, and then we'll get back over to Eugene, but we're veterans, right? And in veterans, we go through some stuff. And it's very important that as veterans that we know that we're not walking alone, that we know there's other people who've gone through it. And it's very helpful to hear from another veteran, hey, brother or sister, I've gone through what you've gone through, and this is how I came out the other side. So talk about that a little bit.
Most definitely. And, you and I have talked about this in the past several times, is that I firmly believe, just from experience, that peer-to-peer counseling a lot of times can be more effective than a traditional provider-patient role. And that's because, Eugene can attest, I'm sure, that as veterans, we build this wall up, and we don't trust people by nature, right? But we do trust our brothers and sisters to our left and to our right. So if we have a brother and a sister that has been through the same thing that we've been through, it's much easier for us to break down our guard and talk about what's going on and get that support that we need.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do in the military and veteran community. But, a good thing that we need to start talking about more in that community is transitioning out of the military. And on that topic, I always, what you're talking about, your brother and sister to the left and to the right. The example I use is when you transition out of the military, man, it's like going from the security blanket. You get paid the 1st and 15th. You're going to have 72s and 96s. That's time off, hours. That's hours, if you do that and do the math. And so, but that there's a comfort level there. That there's a support network. There's family support networks. There's support networks for you. And then all of a sudden you retire and you're out there on your own. And now you're out there on your own with your wife and your kids, and you haven't been there really, so you've been the guy that's gone or traveling, or the woman that's gone and traveling, and now you're home alone. But I also think that for military men and women is that, no, nothing bad to you, Jeff, on this comment, but like You walk into a bar with your buddies that are Marines or military, Army, or sailors. You walk into a bar and somebody tries to fight you, they're fighting all of you. You walk into a bar with civilians and they're going to push you into the fight where they turn and walk away. And
No,
I
that's
don't
not true.
way.
It's
Yeah,
not true. It's all about World Star, baby. Break out them phones.
yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right. But it's just a different world, and it's hard for us as veterans to transition sometimes. That's why we have to be there and support each other. No, that wasn't bad. Yeah, I was just joking. You'd get in a fight with me, wouldn't you? If somebody tried to fight me.
Yeah, just like your soccer mates, right? Your
That's right.
teammates are gonna do the same.
Right? Exactly. Your teammate is going to do the same.
Yeah.
But we have experts inside of Convene as well, right? We have people who have been there, done that, and been successful. And that's where Eugene comes in. So Eugene, you said earlier that we met through you driving Uber, right? But what people don't really know is your story. And so your story's from Uber to millionaire. So talk about that just a little bit and what you do.
Well, I'd say everybody has a story. It's one of our taglines, and if we can communicate, if I can talk, if we can communicate our stories,
Army thing.
right, then people have an opportunity to learn from your experiences. So my story that Matt is alluding to is I was driving for Uber, met his friend, realized that I could no longer be in an Uber with people who potentially had COVID, because it was COVID when I was driving. That main last couple of years. And so I was able to take just a little bit of money, about $5,000, turned it into almost $3 million in a year. And just I was backed into a corner where you had to put in the work, you had to perform. And I know we'll talk about putting in the work, meat eaters, and some of the other things we'll eventually get into. So yeah, putting in the work.
Yeah. Yeah, putting in the work. So what do? You teach people how to trade stocks?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's important because, and here's the differentiator that I want everybody to understand and I want to point out is Eugene teaches people how to trade stocks. So I can, again, back to the topic that we were talking about videos, I can go and watch his 10-step course on how to buy breakouts. But what happens when I have a question on other platforms? What happens when I don't quite understand it, or I have a question maybe about a stock? How does that work out?
Well, it typically doesn't, because you don't have access to the person who produced or created the course. But in Convene, because we have, a section lessons learned where you can have written lessons that you've learned from a particular experience. You also have discussion board. You have a number of ways to collaborate. And one of those ways is to be able to collaborate with the individual who actually produced the course or who's hosting the coaching.
Yeah.
Well, and even the person that produced the course on another play, if you're just watching videos, if they produce that video and they don't answer all the questions, or if you have a question and can't reach out to them, you're going to find another video from somebody else, right? So the content creator just lost out on that part, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's really what it is. And it's a collaboration. So discussion boards are so important. Reading blogs are so important. This is important. Podcasts are important. Interviewing other experts. I think that's one of the main things that we try to push people to incorporate inside of Convene is, I might be inside of Convene and I might be the leader of Convene, but I'm going to go out here and interview all the other experts that are doing great things in Convene because I want to highlight and show what they're doing. So it's a collaborative platform, where we're getting to know each other, and that's just key. In that. So I think that's a good thing. What else y'all want to add about the platform? We've kind of hit on it, talked about it.
Well, maybe just, a little bit sort of how we're all using it, right? So I just mentioned I use it with my kids in my classroom. That directly correlates to the Uniquely You teens and young adults. And it's been great. You mentioned, experts and people getting some advice with people that have expertise. Perfect example is just the other day, someone posted a message in the discussion board, Uniquely You. I'm assuming it's a teen, just because they're in the community, but also the way it was sort of written. But it was pretty deep, and it was a lot about their younger life. And then they were able to sort of get out of a bad situation into a better situation. and then just asked a little bit of a question, basically like, can anybody relate? And Amy and Kate were two that responded to it kind of right away. And so here you have most likely a teen or young adult with something to say and wanting to get something out, posted anonymously. And then you have some expertise, some experts / expertise, giving some advice back. Yes, I've been through the same thing, or I've been through something similar, and here's how I dealt with it. Thanks for sharing, sort of thing. So it was, it was a perfect example of how the site can be used.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that I've ever seen in a discussion board was a teen came in and wrote about some school drama, something that had happened to them that day in the school. And you had other teens come in and respond to it anonymously. And then you had, I know Kate came in and responded as a pediatric PA, as a professional. And then you had my daughter Lainey, who was a senior at the time, came in and responded to that person as Lainey, as a senior in high school, as somebody who had been there and done that. And that's how she started. Hey, I've been there. I've been through what you're going through. And to me, that's so powerful that one, you have the ability to post anonymously, but two, you have the ability to respond anonymously or respond as yourself. And it allows you to be vulnerable. In this day and age and time, we need the ability to be vulnerable, to work around in safe places, and to feel like we are in a spot where we can be open and honest. And you can't do that in other places. I'll give you an example. I'm a big Sam Howell, UNC Tar Heel fan, right? So now he's playing for the Washington Commanders. So here I am following the Washington Commanders, and he's getting ready to be quarterback. Oh my gosh, I can't stand the reading them, all the different comments, because people are just, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Right.
You can't even read it. So it goes back to adults having adult conversations. And that includes the kids. Kids are having a grown-up conversation because they're not scared, and they're not going in there and picking on each other. They're not going in there and bullying each other. And those things are important.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to use it with the local volleyball club here. I've been talking with the director quite a bit, and I was just explaining it to him. The different components and different ways they could use it, and showed them how I was using it with my high school soccer team. And one of the first questions he asked me kind of cut me off and was like, how did he phrase it? I have a group of seniors players that have asked about having their own discussion, like text thread, right? But they want to use it with the rest of the girls in the club, but they don't think people and the girls will communicate properly because their names would be associated with it. He said, can we make a group? It sounds like we make a private group that it's just the volleyball players with these seniors kind of leading it, so that, these kids who are all in the same gym and enjoying the same sport, but have other things going on, can have a safe space to just ask some questions, and even anonymously if they want. So I'm excited to see how that works. I'm positive it's going to work out well. I mean, I can just imagine, but there's, just like you said, the safe space for these kids and really adults, anybody can share and ask and educate and learn from each other.
Yeah. What do you got to add, Eugene?
As far as usage, there's just so many ways, again, whether you're a free person that comes in, that joins a community or a group, that group can be private or premier if you have content to share, to market. You could become an affiliate. You could be a community leader. There's a nonprofit. There's so many ways to use Convene without going into all of it in this session.
What I like about the platform, I can sum it up in one phrase, and that's the platform without drama.
Yeah. It's really it. Yeah, that's really it. It is a platform without drama, and it's there. Again, when you talk about, I'll talk about that, because I think that was my goal when I created this platform, right? Is to create a platform and a learning environment, a place where people can come in and people can be a part of something where they can just work for the good of each other. There's so much that we need to learn from each other. Now, how did this kind of start? For me, that kind of started for me. I used to just do this business to business, and I would go out, and my core thing that I would talk about was decision making, how we learn to make decisions in a time critical environment, in a trauma center, working as an air medical crew, all those different things that we do. It's so important that, we work and we make good decisions. Well, as I was speaking one time at Duke University, this is when it really kind of hit me hard. It hit me hard when I was speaking at Duke University, and I had a line that wanted to speak to me afterwards. And they took what I was talking about, and they wanted to talk about parenting. They wanted to talk about their marriage, and they wanted to talk about their relationship. And the point is that, they saw the importance of learning from each other. They were seeing the importance of that shared learning environment. And that's what Convene is. It's a shared learning environment. So to be able to bring that over inside of Convene into this platform that anybody can take whatever topic they want and have these great conversations is really what it's all about, and learn from each other. Yeah, you're the community leader or the group leader. You're driving the show. You're driving the content. We'll get into this a little bit coming up now, but your people, what makes it different and what we have to make people fully understand is you are just as important as a member as the content creator is. Your comments, your input is just as important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I
you were going to say something. No, you're 100% right. Anybody can post and write comments and write discussion boards and everything in the group or in the community, but as a group or community leader, you have to facilitate it. You got to sometimes step up and ask those questions, or start a discussion, or do a podcast, or do a video, right? Just to spur it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. All right. I want to point out a couple of things before we kind of go over into the next section here, but feel free to comment. You see the comment streaming. So if you have some questions for us, please comment. If you want to call in and talk to us, you can. Wait just a couple minutes before you call. Doc already put the number up there, which I asked him to do around this time. But think of your question and call in here in a couple minutes. I'll say, hey, start calling. But I want to talk about this with you guys. And I wrote this experience, and I wrote this, blog basically today, and put it into an experience. And if you don't know an experience, come over to Convene and learn from it. But it's talking about being a meat eater when it comes to content creation, because here's what I see, and I'll give you what I see, and y'all expand upon it. I talk to so many people all the time. Hey, can I have a call with you? I have this idea. I have this great idea. I have this story. What you see a lot of times is real life. Real life gets in there. And with that real life, people have something that they're passionate about, whatever that topic might be. They just don't know how to create it and put it into a format to succeed. Right. And so they'll talk to me. We'll talk about it. So there's a workflow within Convene. We like to take people through. You work with somebody or a coach. You get your strategy down. Then we help you build your content, or teach you how to build your content. And then there's the marketing piece that we try to push you into, and we help with that marketing. And so, but what am I talking about when I'm talking about being a meat eater? What I'm talking about is people quit on themselves. They quit. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can, what the story that they have, they don't believe that who they are and the things that they've gone through mean anything to anybody. I use the term, imposter syndrome. A lot of people think there's the imposter, who am I? Who am I to create content? And so this is so important that you get out there. If you have an idea, and this is why I wrote about it today, because I was talking to one of my friends, Vince Martinez, this morning, and we were talking about, if you're going to succeed, you got to be a meat eater. What do I mean by being a meat eater? Eugene?
Well, I'd say, those folks who are a little bit more bold, those folks who believe in themselves, the go-getters of the world. You always hear the phrase, there are people who will, there are people who won't, there are those who do, and there are those who don't. It's the folks who go get it done. They have a plan, they strategize, they believe in themselves, they put pen to paper, they make the phone calls, they send the emails, they send the text, they knock on the doors, they're ready to eat. Meat eaters. They're trying to go get it done. And if you're that kind of person, those individuals typically find success. It's the individuals who are a bit more timid, who fail to do all of the things that I just mentioned, and then they wonder why they're not successful. You've got to put in the work. Being successful is not easy, and because if it were easy to be successful, everybody would do it.
Yeah. Well, think about all the successful people, and maybe sports is what a lot of people know about, and all the biggest names. What do you always hear about them? Yeah, they're incredibly talented, but they're the first ones, they're the last ones to leave. They're doing things behind the scenes that nobody else does. I mean, Kobe, for example, right? Famous, unbelievable work ethic, everything else. But the more, the longer he's been gone, the more you hear these stories about all of the things that he did just to make himself and his teammates better, but himself and his family even better. His daughters. But same thing. First one out, first one in the door for the last one to leave. It's what it's about. And it was a Jeremy Frisbee here. You just have to do. That's right. That's exactly right. You just have to do it. If you want to get it done, you got to do it.
Eugene, I'd like to respectfully disagree with you for a brief moment and say, I think it is easy, but you got to put in the work. And that's where people, they don't want to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree. You got to put in the work. You got to be consistent. You got to be putting stuff out there. We use the mall idea all the time. The mall story. We're explaining Convene. Convene is like the mall. You go into the mall. That is Convene. Inside of the Convene, we have the communities. The communities all are the stores. You go into. I'll use a sporting goods store. Let's say Big Sporting Goods is in the mall. If I go into the mall, that's like a group within inside of one of the communities. I go into Dick's as the community or the community inside of it. And then when I go in there, I go into the groups, and that's like the different departments.
Right.
So if I played baseball, if I want to go look at a baseball bat or a baseball glove, I'm going to go to that section. So your stuff has to be relevant, because if I walk into the store right now and it's becoming fall and I walk into a store and I'm going in there to buy some clothes, and the clothes are all summer clothes, spring and summer clothes, what am I going to do? That's not what I'm there to buy, right? I'm going to turn around and walk out. So put the time in, put the effort in, put the content in, and grow something special. We have two types of community, right? We have one community that's a personally owned community. Eugene, that's what you have. Jeff, you're part of Uniquely You, Uniquely Yours. Those are public communities. So we grow communities in different ways. That's so key, because we really want to grow communities. But here's the deal. If you take a public community, like a health and wellness community, which we'll have Dr. Mel on next week, and I'll talk about that. But if you take the health and wellness community, how many health and wellness coaches are out there?
Over millions.
Probably too many. There's a lot.
Yeah. But they all have a different slant. They all have something different that they do, right? They all teach people or coach people or take people through workouts. And I might be going in there for, to work on, some sort of weightlifting. Well, my wife might be going in there because she wants to do yoga, and so you go whichever direction it is you go. And then here's what people don't understand, right? And they get so territorial. How would the community sections work? Well, here's the deal. They're only going to watch your content for so long. Jeff, you said it a little bit earlier. And then what are they going to do? They're going to start looking for something else.
Right.
Well, if I brought you to the platform and you went over and took Doc's course and you got done with it, and I got a referral fee because Doc gave the referral fee, and then you're like, okay, I'm done with this. Let me go see what this other guy Eugene teaches. So you go over there and you start taking Eugene's course. I'm getting a referral fee. We're helping each other out. We're growing, and that's key.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great segue. I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping here real quick. If you're going to call the show, ladies and gentlemen, highly encourage you to do so. However, turn whatever platform you're watching the show's volume to mute. Otherwise, we'll get very bad feedback. And if you see in the upper left-hand corner there is a donate button there. We're not asking for a lot of money. It's a $1 here, $1 there. That will help us out more than you could ever imagine.
Yeah. So we do. Doc does pay for this platform that we're streaming on, Restream, and does a lot of other things. So yeah, it's just a way to get back to him a little bit. So you can take that QR code, and you can always donate now, donate after the show. It's set up. So
Mhm.
so that's a great thing, and it's what we're going to continue to try to push for all the shows to really give him something for his time. Yeah. Um, yeah. So how do we tell people how to succeed? How do we tell people how to go forward and take their idea, take what they're passionate about, and really turn it into a profit?
Well, I personally think you ask great questions, and the other part of it is you have to have had the experience yourself that you can show them that you yourself are successful at doing what you're encouraging them to do. I spoke to a young man today, and I say young man, he's 30, but I'm almost twice his age, about about what he needed to do as it relates to putting money away, funding his Roth IRA, all of those things, so that he would be better positioned than what I was at that age. So it's conversations, it's sharing experiences, and giving hopefully great advice.
Mhm. Yeah, I echo that same thing, Eugene. Asking the right questions for sure, but maybe as well, just having a proper conversation with someone, right? Digging in a little bit to see who they are and what their enjoyments are and what they're good at. For all my life of coaching and teaching, one of the things that I found is for as much as you know somebody, right? I'm around these kids and even my coworkers and other teachers and coaches all the time, but it's amazing what you don't know about someone you know so well until you just kind of keep asking the question. And once you sort of see that light go on in their eyes about what they're really kind of passionate about, and then it's just you just try to foster that in them, right? Just kind of give them a little nudge forward and show them how to do something and show them how to make that light in their eye into something that's bigger for other people.
Mm.
So I think you're right. Just having that conversation, no matter how well you know someone or not, and then asking the right questions and being able to give them a little nudge forward.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's just important for people to understand what we're trying to do with the platform. What we truly are trying to make a difference in people's lives. We truly are trying to build this platform where people are so disenchanted in so many different areas
Yeah.
that they feel like they're searching, for something. I could go on and on about it all day as a counselor, as a dad, as a coach, as a, you
Yeah.
know, what we're doing is can we create this place that's different than anything else
Right.
out there?
Well,
Look at,
it doesn't even have to be something real, in depth and serious, does it?
yeah,
I'm just thinking the conversation we had just, almost an hour ago is finding someone that wants to take the adventure community over, right? And
yeah,
just help people with outdoors type stuff and adventure type stuff. And my daughter was sitting in the room, and you mentioned it, and her eyes lit up. She went and grabbed her folder of all the
yeah,
stuff that we had from our trips the last 2 summers, and wants to start working on it. And then we have a lady that's coming into the communities that started a Disney travel business, right? So how does she want to help people? She wants to help people have a great experience at Disney, getting
yeah,
to and from and everything else. So, the Convene, again, I go back to that first conversation we had, Matt. I think I said to you after you explained to me, I said, man, the opportunities are really endless. The topics, what we can do in this platform is endless.
yeah,
From very serious to not.
yeah. So when you talk about that, that's great, because let's talk about that, because I had the call with the lady today that it was really more on a coaching sort of topic. We were talking about some things that she wanted to do, and where she wanted to go in life, and so one of the things that she wants to do is she wants to create a campground with tiny houses, and in that tiny houses have a little store and maybe a little restaurant that people that are staying in the houses, wherever it ends up being, around a lake or a river or wherever it ends up being,
Yeah.
that place is there. Now I want you to think about this is what I'm talking about: a meat eater. You ready? This is thinking up here. not thinking about something small like they're right now. So where did that conversation go? That conversation went here. It went to, okay, that's your ultimate goal. That's your ultimate goal. Well, let's talk about this community that we can have inside of Convene. And that is the adventure community. The adventure community, all about camping, all about, you name any sort of adventure sport. It can be that particular community. For example, you guys go camping, you have an RV or a camper, and you guys go all over to different campgrounds. So your daughters want to come in and write about these different campgrounds from their perspective. So I started talking about it to her, and I was like, I have a Toyota 4Runner. I'd like to outfit that 4Runner for camping. Those are groups. These are groups that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so if you can create this community in the meantime to get from point A to point B to get to this end goal that you want, and I can create that community, and I can find a way to start generating profit, and I can find a way to bring people in that have different areas of adventure communities. I was like, you could start growing something special in time. And then all the different ways that people can go out and buy other content. Maybe somebody wants to go camping, wants to learn how to invest in stocks. You never know where people go inside of Convene. But the key thing is we talked about it, and I was like, well, this community could help get you to your ultimate goal. And I was like, what if you could build that community up to 3,000, up to 5,000 people over time? And I said, what are the people looking for? They're looking for your camp.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a place to maybe go and stay in a tiny house near a lake, near somewhere. And I'm like, so you're building your base of your audience. It doesn't all have to take place in Convene.
Right.
By any means does it have to take place in Convene. Convene is just a resource that can help you do your job.
Yep.
And that's it. So, but you have to think out of the box. That's a meat eater thought process, because I am a meat eater. Let's be honest. I was a Marine, What are y'all over there in the Army, Eugene? Vegetarians?
Yeah.
You're a vegetarian. What does that make the Navy?
Army's strong, buddy. The Navy doesn't even exist.
Hurtful.
Is it kind of mean, huh, Doc?
But you know what? For the most part, I would probably agree with you, since my upbringing is in the military. I started with the Marine Corps as a young E3, and I went all the way up to I'm 87. So essentially, I cut my teeth on the Marine Corps, doctrine, if you will. So I look at them squids the same way you do.
Yeah, exactly.
I just got to throw out there. So Jeremy put in having a growth mindset. Jeremy, I'm currently creating a module directly about growth mindset and the ABCs of growth mindset. So each alphabet's going to be an experience for growth mindset for young and old, no matter who.
Yeah, talk about that mindset. And we're kind of transitioning, and we just kind of talked about it. The last segment is supposed to be talking about how you become a part of Convene. Well, we just kind of transitioned into talking about her becoming a part of Convene, thinking about her bigger goal.
Right. Well, becoming a part of Convene can be a community or group leader, or just a member that's in part of groups or communities, right? That's just following a certain topic. So, for example, getting the growth mindset group and module up, you can come in and come join and take the module and learn from it.
Yeah.
And then maybe, who knows, maybe someone takes it and it just spurs them into becoming a meat eater, as you say, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have a goal and a drive that they don't want to tell anybody, and get a little bit of confidence and have a bit of growth mindset and get after their goal.
Hey, check this out. So we put I'm going to prove a big point of Convene right here, right now.
Prove it. Let's do it.
You won't.
Yeah, I will. Look, don't be shy. Call a show. You can ask a question to the leaders. Please feel free to call us, right? Why isn't anybody calling?
They're not meat eaters.
Maybe there's no audience. Maybe it's just a couple of people.
We got people watching, but why are they not calling? This validates the anonymity inside of Convene. Because once they call, their voice has to be heard. They have to come out and say, "Oh, this is so and so, and I have a question," and it puts them on the spot. So to pick up the phone and call, raises that anxiety level, raises the thought process of being on and calling, and it becomes a little bit more uncomfortable.
Just make up a name.
Yeah, just make up a name. Just act like you're somebody else. But the point that I'm making is that's one of the features of Convene, the anonymity that we talked about earlier. That is, is very true. So, all right, listen. How do you become a part of Convene? So, Eugene, I'll let you talk about that because you know all the ways.
Well, the first thing you would do, you either get invited by a sponsor or someone who's already a member. They send you a link and you join using their link, or you certainly can go to convenecommunities.com. There are a number of ways for you to find us. And then they're simply going to ask you for, like all other platforms, for your name and an email address. And then you get a chance to explore a little bit. Maybe you join a few communities, maybe you join some public groups. You start to understand what the platform is all about. And you can then eventually join us on a Monday night call every Monday at 7 o'clock. And the first 30 minutes is typically some networking, and typically the last 30 minutes, we may get into some training. So a number of ways to get involved. You just have to decide, are you going to add Convene as another resource to what you're currently doing?
Yeah. So, and I'll say one of the things, I hadn't really talked about what I do, right? It's one of the things I do inside the platform is the Convene community is the training community.
Mm-hmm.
You guys both have a coaching group in there where you take people and coach people through the process of learning how to use the platform and getting onto the platform. So, that is a great thing. Very easy to do, to join, all the training that you need. Different coaching groups in there will walk you through the process and really onboard you and teach you how to use the platform. Again, it's a platform. You got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to put things in, and no matter what you're doing, it takes a little bit of effort and time.
Yeah. Well, good example of how to join. Like Eugene, you said, take someone's link. Well, Mel, who's going to be on next week, shared her link with someone that wants to start a group about diet, eating disorder type stuff in the health and wellness group. So she signed her up. We got on a call, right? Just similar to the Monday call, but just got on a call and we talked her through. Mel and I talked her through setting up a group. And one of the things I told her, I said, look, if you look in the top left corner there's the help center. And there's all the different links that, you can just kind of go through on your own. Or, Matt, like you just said, go to the Convene community and I'll go to the pages with all the videos, the how-to page, right? And there's all the videos right there to take you through everything from setting up your profile to what affiliate program's all about.
And we have resources, right? So Doc, you're on here, you're a resource. I talked about we can train people on the strategy, how to do things. But a lot of times let's tell people real quick on what you did for Mark Ullman.
Yeah, I'll share a little bit. I'm not so sure how much he wants me to share yet because of the fact that we haven't published anything yet. But what I did is I took a nice little trip up to Wisconsin, and we took 2 days and we recorded 22 short videos of his system that he's putting together. And the goal is to put it up, obviously, in Convene on the YouTube. And it worked out fantastic. And I'm really excited for him. I don't know what's going on upstairs. I think there's an earthquake or something. But anyway, I'm really proud of the work that he put into it. And, man, he put in some work, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So in about 36 hours, we knocked out 22 videos.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah,
So
Mark came into my classroom with that program.
Yeah.
And he came in and the kids' eyes just lit up. It was great. He was great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's awesome. All right. So I appreciate you guys being on. Appreciate you guys going on there. If anybody has any last questions, we have about 5 minutes left. Next week, you already mentioned it, Jeff, but I'll talk about it a little bit. We have Dr. Mel, who will be on. The goal, again, of the podcast is that we will start highlighting our communities. We'll start highlighting different community members. Next week is Dr. Mel, Live Well with Dr. Mel. She's in the health and wellness community. She has multiple groups in there. She does stuff with yoga. She is a physical therapist. She has a fall prevention course. for those who are older. Maybe you have a family member, Doc, you need that big time. Eugene, for sure. You know, us young two over here, we're all right, Jeff.
We're good.
um, but
Nonsense.
but you know, the point is that she's doing some wonderful, wonderful things inside of Convene, making a big difference. She is having a baby, which we're all excited to be the first Convene baby. Really excited about that. Before that, she was doing yoga and wine. That has been suspended for a little while.
Hey, but Matt, quickly tell what she called the other day for about how she wanted to use it for her party.
Oh yeah, so no, this is true. I'm glad you said that
Great.
because this is coming. All right, we are going to do. This is one of the ways you can get creative and think out of the box.
This was great.
We are going to do a Convene. She's doing it herself, but we're also going to do it too. We're going to do a Convene virtual baby shower for Mel. And what's going to happen is going to be a paid group. So we're going to have some prizes that we'll give away in that group. But it's going to be a way that we can give money to Mel, her husband, and the baby, buy some stuff that they need. But we'll do it one night. We'll have a virtual. This will be when she has the baby. She'll come on with the baby, and we'll have questions in there. And the questions will be, you know, how much was the baby? How much did the baby weigh? Or what color was the hair? Did it have any hair? What color was the eyes? All these different, what was the length? And so we're gonna have all these questions. She'll have them teed up. We'll be ready to go. And the person that gets the most points will get, you know, we'll have some prizes there. But it's a way for us to get back and have a virtual baby shower for her. And that's thinking out of the box about it. She's also doing one for her family and friends up there where she lives. So pretty cool. Pretty excited about that for her. But that was, she brought it one idea and then we took it to a whole different level.
It was fun.
And all that. So it should be fun, should be pretty cool. But that's the family that we have here at Convene, Jeff. That's really it, right, Eugene? I mean, that's the family that we have. Is that we bring people together and we're doing wonderful things to lift people up. All right, I'll give you three guys, the last words. You know, we'll start with you, Doc. Anything you want to add? You know, being a part of Convene.
I just love the family atmosphere. And you know what, to be honest, it really is kind of almost like being back in the military again, to the degree of that I know I can call or contact anyone in the community and get an answer, but get an answer almost immediately. So it helps bring that trust factor up. And lastly, I do have one last housekeeping item for you guys. When we do conclude, gentlemen, please stay in the room. I'm going to take us off the screen, but stay in the room. We'll talk afterwards. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of our I don't want to say our first, but our coming back, if you will, to Convene podcast.
I appreciate it. And I will say this before I go over here to Jeff and Eugene, is that if you have a podcast that you want to do and you want to do it live, I know a guy that will help you do it, right? He will produce your show and make it happen. But I know him. And obviously you see how good this is. So it's awesome. Jeff, we'll go to you and then we'll go to Eugene.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, we want to get as many good people on this platform as possible. You know, we certainly want to make it grow and as big as we can possibly make it grow, but we want to do that with the right people in the right way. So if you got content, if you have ideas, if you have thoughts, if you have questions, just reach out. We'll definitely get back to you and talk you through it.
Yeah, could not agree with you more. We're always looking for good ideas and great people. If we don't have a community, we can make it.
Make one.
That's for sure. We do have some communities that are out there that we're looking for community leaders, first responders. We really need somebody to take over the military community. Umpires and referees is a community that could be great. That we have so many different communities out there that we really could build on and expand. So if you're somebody that's interested in that, come on. Eugene, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just echo what you said, both of you, and that is to maybe join us on the platform Convene Communities itself, and you go into the Convene community and you scroll down under the information section and you'll see the link to the 7 p.m. call. So if you're thinking about, you know, maybe a side hustle or finding some value and with some communities that you may be interested in, then give Convene Communities a try. And if you're looking to maybe take some time to help somebody or to get some help with a strategy, we're certainly happy to help you do that. Any one of us, Matt, Jeff, and I will certainly spend some time on a Zoom call to help you think through ways that you can bring value to people. So glad that you guys are on here, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys on the Monday night call.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I want to thank you three for being on. I want to thank everybody that's watched. Make sure to take this link once it comes out, share it with somebody that you might know that might be interested, that might want to become part of the Convene family. Send them over there. Send them your link if you're already a part of Convene. If not, send them to convenecommunities.com. We're always looking for great people. That's what I'll say. You can see there, Convene Communities, a platform with a purpose. It is about making a difference in people's lives. That's what we're here to do. So thank you very much for watching, and look forward to seeing you next Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. It'll be Dr. Mel.
Dr. Mel.